And there she was, one Ms. Carly Simon with I've Got a Crush on You, and that's from the Glory of Gershwin CD, which features other fantastic artists, including Peter Gabriel, Krista Berg, Sting, Lisa Stansfield, Elton John, Elvis Costello, Cher, Kate Bush, John Bon Jovi, Odetta Adams, Sinead O'Connor, Robert Palmer, Meatloaf, and Courtney Pine, and just a few. But it's a fantastic CD, and I never get tired of playing it. I hope you never get tired of hearing it. And someone I'm sure that we're never going to get tired of hearing or looking forward to hearing more from is my next guest. I'd like to welcome to the program Adam Stolfo, who's an up-and-coming film director with a very interesting film that's going to be screening as part of the Melbourne Underground Film Festival. Welcome to the program, Adam.
Good afternoon, Barbara. How are you going?
How are you? Now, I was just telling you that this film is fresh in my mind because I just saw it this afternoon, actually. This is Alaina. And this is a bit of a labour of love for you. You actually made this film last year, is that right?
Yep. We shot it at the end of 2003, and we finished post-production around the start of 2004, about February, and then we premiered it in March last year. And since then, we've been shipping it around to film festivals across the country. Good
for you. And I must say, I was very taken with the technical quality of it. I saw it on DVD. You've even got the professional outtakes and a few other extra added features.
All the commentaries, everything's
right.
on there.
Good stuff. Now, you're also a finalist in the Sour Grapes Film Festival. And tell me about the Sour Grapes Film Festival. I confess I haven't heard of it.
All right. The Sour Grapes Film Festival, for some reason, doesn't seem to be on the schedule this year. I don't know why, but last year it was a big festival in Sydney. So myself, executive producer of the film Michael Hadgen, and co-writer Damon Qua all ventured up to Sydney for 24 hours.
Gosh.
And yes, it was. I'm not a big fan of Sydney myself, so it was enough time for me. Being a Melburnian.
Fair enough.
But
bit too glitzy.
That's right. I don't know why I don't like Sydney that much. I just don't. But anyway, the Sour Grapes Film Festival. Okay.
It's an Australian festival, is it? Or?
It is. It is. Actually, we were a finalist. So there were 14 films out of quite a couple of hundred entries, actually.
Good for you. That's a bit of a coup. Yeah.
It was. So we were rapt about that. Now, one of the criteria in the Sour Grapes Film Festival was that you weren't actually allowed to be accepted into any other film festivals.
Oh, hence the title.
That's right.
of the festival.
Since then, Alaina's been picked up by, the Melbourne Underground Film Festival and even a couple in Queensland. Yeah, so
good stuff. Now, just talking about Alaina, now this, I think, is a very topical film, and quite a sensitively made film too, I might add. Particularly, dare I say, particularly as it's been made by mainly guys. Am I being unkind?
Not at all. Actually, the only female involved was Jean, the actress.
Oh, okay, yeah. And well, let's just tell our audience a little bit about it, but we don't want to give too much away because, of course, it's actually screening this Wednesday night, isn't it?
That's correct. It's screening at the Melbourne Underground Film Festival, which has already started. I think it started last Thursday, and it's running between the 7th and the 17th, so 10 days. And it's playing at the Loop Bar.
Now, where is the Loop Bar?
It's in the city. It's at 23 Myers Place. So that's Myers. That's Meyers. Myers Place in Melbourne.
Sounds like a fairly funky little venue, is it?
I don't know if it's that big. In fact, I've never been there in my life. So
it might be one of those very intimate little bars. Which might be just perfect for the kind of film that it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, just reading from the cover, Alaina wishes the world would go away. One day it does, finding that every living person has seemingly vanished. She is confused and utterly alone. What does it all mean? What is to come? A strange new world awaits her.
Very strange new world.
It was. And actually, when I first watched this film, I thought there's an element of sci-fi and mystery in it. And it really had me very intrigued. It certainly keeps your interest throughout the whole day. It runs for 15 minutes.
It's a short film, so only 15 minutes in length.
Yep. But I was very taken with the technical quality. Without giving too much away, should we say that Alaina is a little bit of a troubled young woman, putting it perhaps sensitively or carefully?
Look, as you know, the film doesn't go much into the backstory about what the character's problem is or why she feels like this, why she wants the whole world to go away.
She wants to do a Greta Garbo. She wants to be alone or whatever.
Yeah, but we don't really say why, do we?
No, we don't. We don't get that.
It's not important. It's not important, is it?
No, well, that's left up to the audience to imagine, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah. It's open to interpretation.
That's right, exactly. So without giving too much away, anyway, there's a wonderful scene in a swimming pool, which was actually filmed underwater, and I was quite amazed. I must have been quite gobsmacked when I actually saw it. I thought, good grief, this is really complicated and really expensive and very, very well done.
Half the budget of the film it was actually, Barbara.
Really?
Yes. Gosh. It cost about $450 and the film only cost about $1,000 to make.
Wow.
So this is low budget filmmaking at its best.
You did well, and you actually got someone specially in to do that particular sequence, did you?
Yes, Gary Bottomley, who's one of the only 2 underwater photographers in the country.
Oh, okay.
And my father, Tel Stolfo, who's a production designer, who's working on that television program that's playing at the moment, Last Man Standing.
Oh, okay,
it's
right.
on Channel 7 on Monday nights at 9:30.
I'm yet to see it, but now I have to make a point of getting someone to tape it because I think I might be working on those nights. But,
yeah, that's right.
Good stuff. So that brings me to my next question too, actually. We'll stick to the film for a minute. I want to ask you a bit about your background. But this is quite haunting. And a lot of the film, of course, takes place literally. It looks like a post-nuclear Holocaust world, except that the buildings are still standing, but everyone seems to have disappeared, or as one is led to believe. And how did you manage to organise, that feeling of Alaina just being the one only person left on Earth? How did you manage to organise all that?
I think it's a number of different factors there, Barbara. If you're talking about the physical aspects of the production, we went out to Williamstown for a lot of the scenes in which she's walking around the streets, and the streets appear to be deserted. It's not easy to find those sort of locations around Melbourne.
Did you actually have to go door knocking and asking people, can you make a point of not being at home or not coming out of your house between such and such a time?
No, my father, Tel Stolfo, as I said, is a production designer, right. And he did the production design for the film.
Oh, okay, great.
Now, he took me out to a lot of the locations before we shot, obviously, and said, this would be a good place. Dad knows his... he knows his locations.
He does indeed.
He does. So
I don't know.
So a lot of the empty street scenes were shot out in Williamstown, and that was because of the sort of deserted feeling. And you've got some really nice design in the housing and the developments out there, and some
lovely views of Melbourne across. I thought it was that view was from Williamstown. A great view of Melbourne from across the water. Yeah, exactly. And well, as you're saying, this film, without giving too much away, but it does hit a bit of a nerve about perhaps people's. Shall we say, dissatisfaction with their lives? Dare we say that the D word, depression? And it's very, very topical because certainly, I mean, Alaina, is she late teens, early 20s? I think the character in the script was written as 19. Yep. So not always the easiest time of life for a lot of people and their family and I guess their peers too. But I thought that, as I say, without giving too much away, I thought this film was, it was really well done and very sensitive. But the ending, I must admit, slightly left perhaps for you to figure out. Yeah, it's definitely left open to interpretation, that's for sure. That's the way I wanted it to be. Yeah, so that's the audience has to concentrate. It's not one of these things where you sit down and have a great laugh. The audience has got to be focusing, I guess. Absolutely. But I think it's the sort of film that will have that kind of power because you keep on thinking what's happening, what's going on, and as I said, I had two little nieces watching with me this afternoon, and they were quite fascinated by the whole thing. Well, something you might be interested in is that when I initially wrote the first draft of the screenplay, the film, I actually said to my co-writer, I said, this can be played by either a guy or a girl. Yes, indeed. But when he read it, he said, nah, it's got to be a girl. It just has to be. And why? Tell me why. I think it's the vulnerability to the character, Barbara. The sensitivity? I don't think it would work as a male. Well, it would be a different kind of a film altogether. I think you're quite right. Yeah. It just works. And also because the response that we've had to the film from males and females, but particularly females, a lot of girls have come up to me and mentioned that they think the storyline is really relevant to a lot of young people. Yes, I suppose. They can say, so you struck a chord. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Which brings me to the question about asking you off air about the name of the film, Alaina. Now, what made you hit on that name? I suggested possibly... Alaina. Because she is a very solitary sort of individual, and the film sort of seems to bear that out. Well, she feels that way. She seems to be cut off, alienated, whatever. It's funny. I think it's just a name that came to me. When I first wrote the screenplay, there was no name to the film. In fact, the film had numerous titles, none of which worked. But Alaina sort of just felt appropriate. Yes. And then once I named the character and I discovered that, hey, like it's her story. Yes, exactly. I said it just seems to work better than any of the other titles. Yeah, very apt, indeed. Yeah. Now tell us a little, congratulations, I wish you well with it, and I'm hoping it's going to get a lot more coverage. And actually, there are copies for it that I gather you're selling at the moment too. Is that right? That's correct. Yes. I'm actually considering whether or not I'm going to actually beef up the DVD a little bit, and actually start making some business out of it. Well, maybe sometime down the track. Good stuff. I'm getting a professional website put together by a company named One Network at the moment. Oh, okay. And so my little homemade website will be replaced by a professional one in the next couple of months. That's exciting. So I'll be putting myself online and actually web streaming it as well. Oh, so the film will actually be available online
and you'll be able to purchase the DVD, and that's why I'm considering upgrading it a little bit so it becomes more of a collector's item.
Good stuff. Well, that's something that's quite ambitious, and I wish you well with it. Now, tell us a little bit about your own background. I mean, you've actually officially studied film, or you've actually done film courses. Is that right?
I have, but look, I think the best education in film, Barbara, is to actually make one. I don't think as many times as you can be sat down in a lecture theatre and told how to make them until you actually go out there physically with a camera and a crew and a cast. I don't think you can say that you're really learning, to be honest.
That's true. It's like so many things. It's hands-on, isn't it?
You learn the skills, and there's stuff that you have to learn when it comes to filmmaking and stuff. The technical side, and people take a lot for granted.
Yes, indeed.
But they do. But I think the best education in film is to make one.
Get out there and do it. And obviously, I would assume your father's had a bit of an influence on you in terms of your interest.
Yes,
right?
Him working in the art department of film and TV has definitely been a big factor there, I think, Barbara.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's great. Now, so this particular film, you can catch it on this Wednesday night, the 13th.
That's correct, yes. At Loop. I'll just read that out again.
Yeah. Please do.
23 Myers Place in the city. And Myers, that's Meyers. Okay. And it's playing alongside, I think it's playing alongside about 7 or 8 other short films on Wednesday night.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good stuff. And of course, it's not long till the Melbourne International Film Festival, which is kicking off on the 20th of July. So you were sort of a little bit of an appetizer.
Well, the Melbourne Underground Film Festival seems to run alongside it nearly. But I think the topics of film and the genre is a little bit more risque in the Underground Film Festival. Not to say that mine is.
Actually, yours is PG. In fact, it was as I was sitting there watching with my nieces, it crossed my mind. I don't really know a great deal about this film. I'm hoping that the kids aren't going to be too traumatised. But anyway, they were quite fascinated. And my niece kept on saying, I like this film. She's all of 9. But, a lot
of young people have liked it too, like younger than the age of our character as well.
Yes, I think that actually, because the fact that it taps into that, perhaps that fear that some of us have about being alone, or perhaps that desire that a lot of us want to have to be alone. But so you certainly hit the nail on the head with just tapping into that kind of feeling. But no, congratulations, Adam. Wish you
Thanks,
well with
Barbara.
it. And future plans. Well, obviously you've caught up with this on the website. And all. Any more films coming up, or that
there will be? In fact, I go through stages of depression where I don't have a project on the ball at the moment.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just one of those people that always needs to finish a film and then move on. And it has been a long time since I finished this one. But I suppose I'm just feeling a little bit of pressure to make something of quality after the last one.
Yes.
This one was received so well.
Exactly.
So I suppose I'm just feeling a little bit of pressure in regards to finding the right project that will stimulate me as well.
Will you be entering in a few other festivals?
Yes, I've entered into a few festivals in Queensland.
Oh, great. Okay.
One of the festivals, I actually had to cut the film in half and shorten it by 7 minutes, which really dramatically changes the narrative.
I'm sure. How did you feel? Did it work better or worse?
No, it's worse.
Yeah, I was going to say, that would be really difficult. It would be like butchering your baby or something.
That's right. No, come and see the 15-minute version, because that's the theatrical version. That's the director's cut. All right?
Yes, and that's the way it was meant to be originally.
They just had an 8-minute limit on this festival in Queensland, so I had to...
It was painful.
I had to cut it in half, and it really hurts the film.
Yes.
But I took the attitude of saying, oh, what have we got to lose?
Well, exactly. I mean, you've got to be out there and just letting people know what you can do, I guess.
That's right.
And if people are really interested, they'll chase up the full length edition too, won't they? So
yes.
That's great. Well, wish you well with it, and yes, keep us posted as to what's coming next. But hope that you'll get a good crowd down there at the Loop, and if you can't get the people down there, I hope that you'll be able to get in contact with you to get a copy of it. Now, did you want to give it a website or a phone number or anything else?
Just a couple of bits of information just in case people need it. So that's the Melbourne Underground Film Festival. Any information on the festival itself can be obtained from www.muff.com.au. So that's MUFF, okay, with its unfortunate name, but that's the way it goes.
It's really distinctive.
So in regards to a single session for the festival, it's $12 for adults, $10 concession for a session. Alaina's playing in session 7, which is at the Loop Bar at 9 o'clock this coming Wednesday.
Good stuff. And I guess you'll be there and hoping to be mobbed by interested public, is that right?
That's a filmmaker's dream, I think.
That's right, exactly. Yeah. Marketing the T-shirts and
that's all. Right.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Adam, and I wish you well for Breakleg, as I say, and hope we'll catch up with you sometime soon. I thought actually we might take a track, a rather apt track. This is from birthday girl Linda Ronstadt, and this is from her album Lush Life, when she's actually being accompanied by the Nelson Riddell Orchestra, and this is When You Wish Upon a Star.